Welcome to the lesson on adding and subtracting negative decimals. So I want to focus on using a calculator when adding and subtracting negative decimals. Calculators are used as a tool, but at the same time, I feel like students should understand what's going on with the numbers before inputting them into calculators. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay, so for number one, we have negative 0.5 minus negative 5.3. So you can rearrange this to where we have a positive 5.3 and you're subtracting 0.5 from it. Okay, so we have 5.3 minus 0.5, that's equal to 4.8. Okay, for number two, we have negative 2.8 plus 6.9. So the larger value is 6.9. We can take and subtract 2.8 from it. So we have 6.9 minus 2.8, and that's equal to 4.1. So you should already know how to do this by hand, but even so, if you had a calculator and somehow it stopped working or something and you did not know how to do this by hand, well, I'm showing you how you can do this by hand as well, just by the rearranging of the numbers. Okay, so we have negative 1.8 plus negative, negative 1.8 plus negative 3.3. So we're adding two negatives together, so we know our answer is going to be negative. Okay, so at this point, you can just drop the negatives mentally and you can say, okay, 1.8 plus 3.3. Okay, plug that into your calculator. 1.8 plus 3.3, and that's equal to 5.1. But you already know it's equal to negative 5.1 because you already have your negative sign out here. Okay, so what about the next one? So we have negative 7.4 minus negative 6.7. Okay, so we can rearrange this to where we have 6.7 minus 7.4, right? And in a strange event, your calculator stops working. To do this by hand, even you can say, let me just make a semicolon. You can even say 7.4 minus 6.7. Get that answer, right? But you already know in your mind that it's going to be negative because the value 7.4 is larger than 6.7 because of the negative sign on it, right? So that tells us that the answer will be negative. All right, and then you can just subtract as you normally would, knowing that information. So you have 7.4 minus 6.7, plug it in. That's equal to negative, right, 0.7. Because of course when you subtracted these two numbers, you got a positive 0.7, but you already established that the answer was going to be negative based on the information given here. Okay, very important. So let's go over the last four examples. Okay, so for number 5, we have negative 1.49 plus 7.6. Okay, so we know we have the larger value, 7.6, and we're subtracting 1.49 from it. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug that in. So we have 7.6 minus 1.49, and that's equal to 6.11. Okay, number 6, we have 8.7, and you already know that this will be plus 3.7. Plug that in. 12.4 is your answer here. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try the next one. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward, right? All you have to do is plug it in your calculator. 7.5 minus 3.6 is equal to 3.9. And it's already assumed that you already know how to add and subtract these decimals, right, by lining them up. So let's go over the last one. We have negative 4.3 minus negative 5.9. So go ahead and pause the video, see what you come up with. Okay, so you'll place 5.9 minus 4.3. Okay, and go ahead and use your calculator. 5.9, or you can do it by hand. So we have, 5.9 minus 4.3, and that's equal to 1.6. Okay, so that's all we have for this lesson. Hopefully it was helpful to you, and I look forward to working with you in the next lesson. Take care.